Never accept the idea that your individual self, can't promote and prompt change within a system and a structure. Never accept the idea that you are hopeless. In your biggest moments of despair, when they take out our leaders and they show us that we are behind enemy lines, never take to the idea of thinking there's nothing you can do about it. The reason being is because ideas are what create practices, and practices inflict change on the people around to practice the shit, like the education system, like the government. These were all ideas first that came into practice. But if you have the idea that you can't do nothing about it, you can never form these practices. You can never combat a system that already has practices in place. So taking the idea that you're hopeless, that you can't do anything, that it is what it is and that's just how shit go, that's, to me, the worst way to look at this shit if you're trying to prompt change. If you are a melanated being in this society and you know you're behind enemy lines, and you're going to have kids, and they're going to have kids who are going to start off behind enemy lines, you can't sit here and take the approach of hopelessness. It's your boy Dame. Subscribe to Dame's World. If not, it's Gucci anyway. I'm here to reach whoever is reachable. So for notoriety or whatever, that's nothing for me. I'm here to touch somebody. Simple. I'm here to play whatever role I can play at the moment until I can do more for the moment. And with that being said, this topic of conversation today is rooted in what you can do to make a difference. And when I say you, I'm also saying me, because I feel like I am you. I'm connected to you. When you see a legend pass, such as Nipsey Hussle, or Malcolm, or Tupac, or anybody, and you get attached to that person even though you've never met them, to me that's a testament to your connectivity and your connection to that spirit, that soul. It hurts you. It's a part of you, deeper, on a macro level, not just the surface level. So my question, and I'm going to provide ideas of what you can do within your circumstance as well as myself. When I say you, I say me. But my first premise before anything is, if you are aware of what you're combating, then you must be made aware that there's no means that your opposer won't do. They psychologically have thwarted you. They've structurally have reduced you. They've economically put you at a disadvantage. And if all else fails, they will use military force to end you. So you, as a mandate, if this is something that you care for, if this is something that you're really striving to do, make change in some form or fashion, you have to accept that you may die in doing so. Because the opposition is that desperate to go on those measures. You will die. So if you don't accept the idea that what you're doing can kill you, or if you're fearful that you may not survive from what you're doing, that you may die, then this video is not for you, and it ain't for everybody. And you can live within the comfort of your own reality, get your 9 to 5, have your rent on time, have food, and play oblivious to the nature around you of the rest of the subjects that look just like you. But if you are willing to lose your life for something as such, rather than just living aimlessly through the structure, then this video is for you. And I have a couple things I think that you can do, as well as myself. So it's not, oh, what are you doing? I can do a lot of things as well. But these are things we all can do. For one, we all can be better informed. We all agree that none of us know everything. So we all can be better informed. We can outsource our information. So we don't have to go abide by K through 12 structure. We don't have to just take college courses. We can do those too. We can get the other perspective. But we have to outsource our education because we are misrepresented through education. Joy DeGruy, Michelle Alexander, Booker T. Coleman, Walter Rodney, Nat Turner, James Baldwin, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. These people are people we have to get information from through alternative sources that will help us get back to our consciousness. They were spirits who shed light that was helpful to us. So we, firstly, in my opinion, have to be better informed. We have to assume we're uneducated. That's the only way we're going to be more educated. You have to assume ignorance, because that's the only way you're going to learn and seek information. It's up to you to be informed. It's not up to anybody else to inform you. You can't wait for somebody to tell you to go to school or tell you to read a book. It's up to you. So that's one thing we all can do. Be better informed and better aware of the circumstances around us. Another thing we can do as melanated beings, we have to understand we are not our own enemy. In the sense of action, we are. The things we do propagate our own downfall within this structure. Now, they've created it to where we look at each other as enemies, but we have to accept we are not our own enemy. Even in gang violence perpetuated, you have to look at the origins of how it started. You didn't create these inner cities, impoverished areas. You didn't put guns in those areas. You didn't put crack in those areas. So you have to understand that we all, looking like this, have the same common enemy. And it isn't the white man across the street. It isn't that. It's a structure and a system and a coalition in place that will murder your shit, that will make sure you're disenfranchised, that will make sure you're at the bottom. So it takes each and every one of us to do something, to form a collective consciousness to combat that. One of us ain't gonna get the job done, and one of us can't do everything. We all aren't scientifically astute. Some of us aren't astute in the field of gang relations. Somebody's more profound at that. So we all have a different perspective to give, a different light to shed to prompt this change. It's just whether or not you want to die for something or you want to be comfortable. A lot of us want to be comfortable, and it's understood. Who wants a bullet to the head? Who wants to go against the opposition and possibly be hungry? Nobody wants to do that, but this is not a reasonable thing we're trying to do. When you're combating a system already in place, set for you to fail, the reasonable thing to do, think reason, mind, ration. It's reasonable to not go against it because you know essentially the outcome. It might be death, but this is beyond reason. This is a spiritual feeling. Somebody like Nipsey Hussle's not moving around just because it's rational. It's not rational. It actually is going against reason to go against a whole attack system by yourself and trying to form a union that you know they will bomb your shit. Black Wall Street, Philadelphia Move Group, Black Panthers. Every time you see somebody professing for the citizens, you see the coalition that is attacked. What else you can do? If you see people in your community looking like you with a movement, if you don't want to support it, I would say support it. But if you don't want to support it, don't down it. I feel like in our community, we down so many people that look like us to a degree where they're already being down by the coalition. That's one. So for us to down them as well, it's insult to injury. They already get enough downing. So if you ain't gonna big up them, don't publicly down them. A lot of these things we need to keep within our community and within our people as well. They don't need to hear some of the shit about some of the people that we might conceive as traitors or sellouts, or just to give off that perception, to build a different perception out there, because the media, which is another suggestion of mine, we all need to detract a little more from mainstream media. If you know somebody lied to you before, would you trust them with everything they said afterwards? All of you here can agree that the media has lied to you before. So why, when they put some shit out, why would you trust them initially if you've known they lied to you before? Rationally, for me, it would be an instant approach of skepticism. Whatever the media tells me, I'm going to be a skeptic first. I'm not going to trust that. That's like trusting a nigga who I know lied to me. So that's another thing you can do yourself. When I say outsourcing your education, it means weaning away from media. Media is controlled by the same people who form this coalition against you. I majored in journalism. I got a little bit of the insides of the game, so I have an angle I can offer. I can't offer every angle. I just feel like I'm doing my part, but a lot of the journalist angle is to put out a story, for one, that fits your boss's agenda and put it out the fastest so you get the notoriety. Ain't nothing in there about truth. There's few journalist outlets who are not being paid off by elitists pushing an agenda. So it's up to us to wean away from the media and not feed into their mindset and create our own media. This is why I say speaking out individually is a form of our media. You have social media where we can do this shit. We can use these platforms and speak out. Whether or not you think it's nothing, if you reach one person, it's something. What else can we do? I said we could stop looking at each other as enemies. Our kids, we have a future generation finna endure this shit. We have to be a village. It ain't just mom and pops no more. It ain't just people in-house. You see a little black boy or a little black girl on your journey, you have gems to give them, or you have something to share, or you can be helpful, be that. If you can, if it's within your means. If you on your own survival level, I ain't mad at you. You gotta survive, you gotta do what you gotta do. Just make sure you don't inflict it on another brother or sister. But if you can help, why would it hurt to do so? If you hoarding money, these are just a couple of things. There's many other things. I just wanted to touch on some things for the black community as far as what we can do, because there's a lot of people feeling like there's nothing they can do and they're hopeless. You can community build incrementally. This is Dame, man. I want to know your thoughts, your comments. I'd appreciate them. I just want to know how you feel, how you can make change. Because we all can make change and we all can do more. Dang.